Sister S boyfriend is furious I want to become a stay-at-home wife to please his friend. I, female 22, have an older sister, female 28. She has 4 kids and she loves being a mom and wants to be a stay-at-home mom, and I encourage her to do whatever she wants. She herself understands that I have no desire to be a mom right now, if not ever. I have 2 older sisters who are like me who don't want to be a stay-at-home mother. This is important in the story. Her boyfriend, male 27, is mad at me because he asked me when I'm going to settle down and that he can introduce me to his friend, male 25, who wants a stay-at-home wife. I told him no, that I don't want to date anyone this year, and he got mad at me for some reason and asked me why. So I told him my ex-boyfriend left me with trust issues. My ex cheated on me for 6 months into a 3-year relationship. He told me we broke up in 2023 and I should start getting back out there. And I told him it's not his business and he dropped it. But 2 days ago, he asked me if I wanted to be a stay-at-home wife and mother, and I told him no, that I don't, and I'm not even sure if I want kids, let alone be married. He got defensive since his mom was a stay-at-home wife and mom, and I told him I don't see anything wrong with being a stay-at-home mom, but that I don't personally want to depend on a man for anything. And he once again got defensive and said, not all men are the same. I told him he was correct, but again, not all women want the same thing. He said my sister wants to be a stay-at-home wife and mom, and I told him congratulations on finding that with my sister. Then I reiterated that I personally don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. He got mad because he overheard my conversation about me getting an IUD as well and told me I'm ruining God's plan to make me a mom one day, and I told him whether I want kids or not is not his business. He got mad at me and told me to get out of his home, so I did. My older sister is asking me to apologize to him and to not get an IUD since if I get pregnant, that it's God's plan. And she also told me I should reconsider being a stay-at-home mom and wife. I told her not everyone has that dream, and she accused me of not respecting stay-at-home mothers and wives, which is nothing but lies. My 2 older sisters are on my side and said my sister's boyfriend shouldn't be concerned with how I live my life and that if I don't want to depend on anyone for the rest of my life, that's my choice. He also said I'm going to hell for being bisexual. So I screamed that I guess his girlfriend, my sister, is also going to hell because she's bisexual herself, which he already knows about. Now their friends are calling me and saying that he only cares about what I do with my body since it's God's body and I should respect it and become a mom soon. So am I the a-hole for telling my sister's boyfriend it's none of his business if I don't want to be a stay-at-home wife or mom? No. OP. Of course, you're not the a-hole, and you're absolutely right. It is your choice because it is your life. Nobody gets to tell you what you have to believe in or what you have to agree with or how you have to live your life. And in my opinion, that applies to every belief system, whether it is religious or not. Whatever ideology it is that you subscribe to, it is your choice to subscribe or unsubscribe to it, and you don't get to force or shame or corner somebody into thinking or agreeing with you. So if I was you, I'd really consider just going no contact with them. It's sad, but if they don't relent, then there's no point. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's move on to the community comments. Wondering Gnostic says, so many red flags here and not the a-hole here. To add a bit of fun and flair to your arguments, since they keep bringing up God and all this, feel free to point out that boyfriend is not husband. And in God's eyes, they are living in sin and all those lovely children are illegitimate bastards. That should bring about a whole bucket of fun there. Also, be sure to point out her boyfriend's obsession with your body and what you're doing with it. Does he perchance want that body for his own, and since he can't have it, he's using his friend as a surrogate? There are some serious issues here, but none of them are your problem. As a side note, being petty with biblical technicalities can be a total hoot. You obviously love your sister if you're putting up with this guy's BS, but I'd be going low or no contact after this crap. And OP responds, 3 out of her 4 kids aren't even his. She is pregnant, about to give birth at the end of this month. Wasabi Unlikely 9942 says, honestly, he's out of line. It's your life, and you don't owe anyone an explanation about your choices. Whether you want to be a mom, stay at home or get an IUD, none of that's his business. He needs to respect you and your decisions. And girl, if your sister's boyfriend is trying to control your body, he needs to chill. You're doing you, and that's what matters. Building a Future 21 says, wait. Dude is getting religious about you when he's dating a single mom? Is your sister divorced? Kids out of wedlock, or is she a widow? Because needs to take a big effing step back if he's picking at the speck in your eye when he has a plank on his own, not the a-hole. And OP responds, she has 3 baby daddies. 4 kids, none of them are dead. One of her baby daddies isn't and never was in the picture, and that's her oldest and her second youngest kid's dad. Her middle child's father is and will forever be in the picture. I'm very close to my middle nephew's dad. He's like a big brother to me. Me and my sister's boyfriend were and never will be close, especially after what happened. And too old for this, Spit says, not the a-hole. He's too much involved in your personal life. You have nothing to apologize for. Tell your sister that if she wants to keep the peace, she needs to get her boyfriend to apologize to you for being a nosy judgmental creep. Why does he know about your IUD if your sister told him you need to put her on an information diet? If this subject comes up again, ask him why he's so interested in your uterus. Practice saying, "Why would you ask such a question?" And responds, "He knows because he walked in while I was talking about getting one." All four of us sisters were at his house thinking he left for work, but he came back and got into the conversation. And as soon as he said it's God's body, not my body, my two other sisters started yelling at him and then we left. Okay. Well, the community definitely agrees that OP is not the A-who, rightfully so. So now, let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. I already knew I was going to go no contact with her boyfriend as I don't feel safe around him. But I went ahead and called my sister to tell her and why I chose no contact with him. And she is now super mad at me saying I overreacted and all that fun stuff. So I asked her if they were going to apologize and she said, they don't owe me an apology and I owe him an apology. He overheard us on the phone and once again got into the conversation and I told him I have nothing to say to him. He told me he wanted to know an answer to two of his questions. 1. Why I don't want to be a stay-at-home mother? I told him it's none of his business and to stay in his lane. 2. Why I don't want to date or marry his friend. Told him that he isn't my type and never will be and to not talk to me again. He told me if I don't stop overreacting, I won't have anything to do with my nephews and niece and that, not gonna lie, got to me. I told him for my mental health, I'm done being and talking to him. And my sister said, okay. You made your choice and we will make ours. So now, I'm no contact with both of them. Also found out that my dad found out yesterday and this morning after I was on the phone with him, he went and yelled at Josh and told him to back off. He told him that his daughter wasn't for sale or anything like that. They got into a fist fight and apparently my dad won. I'm not totally sure about that though. My sisters told him that my other sister's boyfriend wanted to sell me to his friend so he freaked out and my sister's boyfriend hit first so he started throwing punches. But again, not 100% sure as my dad told me. Anyway, my dad called me and apologized and asked me personally why I don't want to be a stay-at-home mother. So I told him the reason, which had to do with my dad and stepmom. He apologized to me saying that he never meant to do that to her. Context, he was very abusive to her. At one point, I saw him choke her and screamed and he let her go but never apologized for it. I was 10 years old when it happened. My stepmom, she was a stay-at-home mom and they both heard me scream and he let her go and my aunt called 911 and he was arrested. But she didn't want to file charges, so he was let go. They haven't been together since, but she raised me most of my life. Still, I'm grateful for my dad. He's changed a lot over the years because of all of his kids. We all told him to either get help or no contact and he chose to get help. He's not perfect though, but nobody is. Also, in my last post about this, there were so many people telling me to ask my sister's boyfriend when he was going to marry my sister since they were not living in God's plan. So I asked him. His response was, "It's not my business to know." To which I said, then it's not his business to know anything about what I do with my body and who I date and all that. He got angry with me and proceeded to cuss me out. I honestly just laughed. So, yeah, I've decided to end our relationship with my sister and her boyfriend as I don't feel safe even around my sister, which is sad since she used to be my safe place to go to when I needed it. It sucks because I won't be able to see my niece and nephews anymore, but I finally got my mental health back to good before they started this crap and now it's going down again. Someone mentioned going to see a therapist and I'm going to make an appointment for next week. Thanks for all your support. Willoughby, apart from that context part where your dad was abusive, which of course absolutely sucks to grow up in an environment like that, I think things played out okay. I mean, you're letting go of your toxic sister and her boyfriend and you even confronted him and his hypocrisy was just ridiculous. So here's wishing you the best in the future, UPI. Thanks so much for sharing and take care. And now, let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice, and it's by user Raccoon Weaver. How do I, 31 female, handle my awful sister-in-law, 33 female, and my boyfriend, 30 males, family Christmas? My 31 female boyfriend, 30 male, and I have been together for 3 years. We have gotten to know each other's families quite well and we live nearby and can visit often. I love my boyfriend's family except his brothers, 33 male, long-term girlfriend, 33 female. Call their sister-in-law for simplicity in the title. Let's call my boyfriend James, his brother will be Mike, and his brother's girlfriend Kelly. Kelly and Mike have been dating for 5.5 years. I truly believe she is well-intentioned, but, oh my god, she's freaking terrible to be around. I get along with almost everyone I meet, but being around her actively makes me feel like I'm losing brain cells. We are polar opposites, but that's not why she's terrible. She makes wildly inappropriate comments to everyone around her, has no sense of self-awareness, and thinks the world owes her something. Kelly and Mike are not in a good financial position. Kelly is unable to work because of her traumatic childhood and Mike works 50+ hours a week in construction. He butts his butt to provide for them and she spends her days at the local bar with the local riffraff, then complains about not being able to afford to buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home on several acres of land in our high cost of living estate. For Christmas, my boyfriend's parents are hosting celebrations, and we are doing a small gift exchange with a maximum budget of $10 per person. And then everyone drew a name from a hat, and we get that person one gift up to $50. Total spend is $100 each. So everyone gets one big gift and a couple of small things. At first, we had no budget, but Mike was concerned about being able to participate. So we set a budget and James slipped Mike $200 so he wouldn't have to worry about it. It's not secret, Scienta, so everyone knows who drew which name. James drew Kelly's name, and immediately, she started sending him links to things that were above $100 for him to get her. He reminded her of the budget that we set to benefit them, and she said, "You can afford it. These are the only things I want," and made it worse by saying, "Mike drew your name and we're getting you something nicer than $50. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt that she may not know James gave Mike the $200 to help them out. She hounded James about it being unfair that they suffer while we have so much. So clearly, he can afford to get her a nicer gift. Both James and I are very comfortable, but we've both worked out hard for everything we have." She insulted him, called him greedy, told him that he's selfish and only cares about himself and the fancy life he has with me. Then she said that Mike and her resent him for abandoning them. James is the kind of person who would give his last dollar away, the shoes off his feet in a snowstorm, and who acts tough but is actually just a big softie. A lot of people take advantage of that and he caved. He got her the fancy over budget gift. James and Mike's parents just kind of roll their eyes at her when she makes weird inappropriate comments, and their mom has confided in me that she's happy at least James picked a normal one. She's also said that she's glad she doesn't have to take care of both of her sons into adulthood. They are completely unaware of what's happened behind the scenes between Kelly and James. I'm not afraid of confrontation, but I don't want to ruin Christmas by losing my crap at her. She's bound to say something or do something because she always does. And I don't really know if I can bite my tongue much longer. I am furious at her. I feel like I'm going to explode if she makes one offhanded comment or snide remark that I'm betting it'll only take 20 minutes for her to say something stupid. It's not about the gift. We don't care about the money. To me, this is the icing on the cake of her already poor behavior. To James, it's just another thing he wants to let slide because he loves his brother, and it makes Mike's life easier if Kelly is happy and not complaining. How can I navigate this and stop her from taking advantage of James in the future? Talking to her rationally is futile. James did try that, and that's how we're here. Well, Lupe, if you want to get through a family gathering trying to keep the peace, it's gonna suck because, you have to bite your tongue and all that, but you can just try to ignore her. And if you can't, just go outside and scream in a pillow or something. Now I know this might sound mean, but what I probably would do is return that expensive gift and get her a gift certificate for a therapist that specializes in childhood trauma. Then I'd maybe pay for 1 month's subscription to the LinkedIn job search. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's check out the community comments. Jen 5872 says, whenever she says something stupid, reply with a simple, "What an odd thing to say," and walk away. You can admit the odd part when it doesn't fit the statement. And OP responds as an example of the things she says. My boyfriend has a cousin who had a car accident, and one of their legs has a severe burn scar on it that covers, like, half their leg. Cousin was wearing shorts when he first met Kelly. First words out of Kelly's mouth were, "Whoa, what the F happened to your leg?" It's awful. I do like your suggestion. My facial expressions usually speak for me, but with how she spoke to James, I'm livid. Says, honestly, I would have cut right in and said, "No, James and I are sticking to the budget. Keep it up and you get nothing." And OP responds, their conversation happened over text message, so I didn't know until after it was said and done. And Competitive Place 280 says, your boyfriend shouldn't have caved. What will he do when he marries you? Will sister-in-law continue to get her away? And OP responds, to clarify this, I hope he never changes. He's the sweetest, most giving person. One of many reasons I love him. It just sucks to have someone take advantage of it and his family over and over again. She does it to everyone. It's terrible. Alright, the community gave some pretty good suggestions, particularly that one about, hey, what an odd thing to say. I like that. I might start using it too. So now, let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Thank you to everyone who commented. Here's the update. Christmas was actually lovely. Kelly behaved for the most part though, of course, Made a few left field comments using mother-in-law and father-in-law for simplicity. But my boyfriend and I are not married. Here are some examples. Mother-in-law opened a gift. It was a turkey baster. Kelly exclaimed, "Whoa, father-in-law. Trying to get her pregnant again?" Mother-in-law and father-in-law are in their 70s. Awkward pause. I nearly died when she said it. It was so weird. Mother-in-law just looked at her like, turns to me and to James and goes, "Actually, I'm not surprised it's not you." And on recommendations from Reddit, I laughingly responded, "What an uncomfortable thing to say." Kelly went on about how she expected after we took a 2-week vacation, we would be sharing a pregnancy announcement. I responded, "Well, that's kind of weird." I got James a gag gift that says some sexual innuendo on the butt of a pair of pants. Kelly kept making comments about, "No one needs to know the details of your sex life." Despite that, the pants were a joke. This was repeated all night, but I just ignored it. Otherwise, we had a great time and a great family gathering. I wish I had something more exciting, but the answers I got helped me have a few responses in my arsenal to respond to her weird comments, and otherwise, I ignored her. Honestly, the rest of the family are lovely, funny, well-adjusted humans, so no worries there. It's just Kelly. I don't want to ruin our fun because of one person's weird behaviors. And now, James has given me permission to respond as I see fit. He also reinforced that she is the wacko and he has my back if I need or want his support. The only reason I've stayed silent for so long is for the sake of peace with his family, but they're all on the same page. Thanks, Reddit. Well, it's good to know that even though there were some weird comments on Kenny's behalf, Christmas wasn't ruined and you guys had a great time. And also, now you've got carte blanche for the future.